Hello everyone, my name is Oliver.
And I'm Karina.
And we are going to be exploring rocks today. Rocks are all around us. They are in mountains, on the ground, or even in riverbeds.
And every rock tells its own story about how it's formed. But what is a rock?
All rocks are made up of these tiny little bits called minerals. And a way of thinking about it is with Lego. Each individual Lego piece is different from each other, just like minerals are. And as soon as we put them together, we get a masterpiece made out of Lego. But minerals and rocks are kind of the same thing. Minerals are each different from each other, but as soon as they start getting put together, they create a rock masterpiece. Simply put, a rock is made of a bunch of minerals.
Okay, so we figured out that rocks are made of minerals, but why are there so many rocks that look so different, like these two?
This is a great question, and there are actually two main reasons why rocks are so different from each other. The first reason is that rocks are made of one or many different minerals, so they are not always made of the same thing. And number two is that Earth's processes, like heat, movement, wind, and water, are constantly changing rocks over long periods of time. But the great thing is that scientists have actually organized the rocks into three main groups.
Well, thanks, Oliver. That does make things easier. But now I've thought of another question. Does anyone know the names of the three rock groups?
If you said igneous, metamorphic, and sedimentary, you got it. Each group is based on how the rock forms on Earth.
So igneous rocks form when hot magma and lava start to cool and form solid rock. These rocks are commonly found on the sides of volcanoes. Igneous rocks often look rough and have holes in them because gas bubbles that were from the lava got stuck inside as the rock was cooling. You can see the holes inside of this rock here. This is an igneous basalt. Other igneous rocks form when magma cools slowly inside the Earth's crust. Because the magma is cooling slowly, minerals have time to grow large. So we can actually see these minerals with our eyes, just like we can see in this igneous granite.
Metamorphic rocks are rocks that have been changed. They change from heat or pressure, or maybe even both. The heat and pressure causes the rock to be bent up and down or squished together. And we can tell a rock has been changed because they'll normally have these zigzags or squiggly lines in them.
And last, sedimentary rocks form when little bits of rock from larger rocks gather and then get pressed together. Rivers, streams, glaciers, and rain can move little bits of rock. Over time, these little pieces of rock gather together in places like beaches, and then they get covered with other rocks, and then they get squished and pressed together to form a sedimentary rock, just like this sandstone.
Now that we've talked about the three rock groups, let's go outside, check out some real rocks, and be rock detectives. Hello everyone, I am at the Earth Science Museum's Peter Russell Rock Garden. Here, there are over 80 different rocks from all across North America. So it is the perfect place to be a rock detective. Let's go find our first rock. Let's get a closer look at this rock. If we look really close, it has different minerals that are red, white, and black. And the minerals are large enough to see with our eyes. What rock group is this part of? It is an igneous rock. The fancy name for this igneous rock is called granite. Let's go look at another rock. Let's take a closer look at this rock. This rock has all these squiggly lines on it that make it look like it's been bent or squished together. What kind of rock do you think this is? It is a metamorphic rock. The fancy name for this metamorphic rock is called marble. Let's go look at another rock. Let's take a closer look at this rock. As you can see, there are all these small holes on it that make it look like there were bubbles inside it as it formed. And if we were to pick it up, we'll notice that it's actually super light. What kind of rock do you think this is? And this is a bit of a tricky one because we've actually already guessed this rock before. This is an igneous rock. The fancy name for this igneous rock is called basalt. Let's go look at our last rock. Our last rock is this big rock here. What do you see? Looking close, it kind of looks like there's a bunch of rocks inside this big rock. And it kind of looks like the different rocks and pebbles were just glued together. So what kind of rock do you think this is? Yes, it is a sedimentary rock. And the fancy name for this sedimentary rock is called a conglomerate. I hope you've enjoyed being rock detectives with us today. Our challenge for you is to try and go out there and find what rocks you can find in your own neighborhood. Now get out there and get searching.